Yay, welcome everyone. As I was saying, we've got, I think, a cozy little intimate group here today. And I was hoping to get a few of our UK, Europe visitors. Have we got anyone from there? Catherine's waving. So yes, excellent. And of course, Jill. Anyone else? No, maybe some more will pop in later. But yeah, it does mean that we get to chat to Jill today, which is really exciting because Jill's been giving so much joy with her goat story and other yarny delights.
I love the goat so much.
So yeah, maybe introduce yourself to us. I think everyone probably knows who you are, but you know.
Probably, I've been around. So I'm Jill. I'm originally from the United States. I moved to Sweden. I moved to Sweden twice, technically. Once right after I finished university, and we were here for 2 years, and then we moved back to the States so my husband could get his PhD, and then we moved back here because he got a job at the university that he used to go to. So I've been here now for 7 years consecutively.
Wow. So is he Swedish? I always assumed he was.
Swedish. He's Swedish. Yeah. He's Swedish, yes. So I've been around for all except the very first of your Festive KALs. The very first one, I did it, but I was not, I had other things going on and I was not part of the actual KAL, but I did knit the Adventurous that season. And then since then, 2018, I've been
quite actively participating.
Been very active. So
because you've got young children too, don't you? So
yeah, I've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah. And then this summer I started dyeing yarn, actually. So it's very new. So
tell us, backtrack a bit more about your knitting journey and then how you got into dyeing yarn. Yeah.
Sure. So my knitting journey starts with my Nana, my mom's mom. She was a British war bride, came over from the UK after, on the heels of World War II, and raised 3 lovely daughters. And she was such a knitter. She was such an avid knitter, and she taught my mom to knit. And my mom taught me and my sisters, and one of my sisters is here on the chat with us, Heather. She's working on her goat kit right now, actually. And so about the end of high school, start of university time, my mom taught us to knit, and I've been knitting. I've started real simple stuff, just simple scarves and garter stitch everything, and then after we'd been here in Sweden and moved back to the States, I made a very, very good friend who introduced me A, to the world of hand-dyed yarns, and B, to Ravelry, really, and started getting me doing a lot of different patterns and things. So I thank her, and I miss her a lot. I haven't seen her in 7 years. But so then since then it's just been kind of full speed ahead with knitting and trying all kinds of new things. And
yeah, which I think we can all relate to once you go down the Ravelry rabbit hole.
Oh my gosh, it's such a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
it's such a rabbit hole.
So what led you to dyeing yarn? Because obviously you became a connoisseur of fine yarns.
Yes, I try. So in my day job, I'm a teacher. Last year was a really rough year for me, and I was looking for other things to do to try to keep happy, and it's actually my husband's fault, because he's very much one for seeing something and kind of like grabbing a thread and tugging on it, so to speak. And so he actually got me a book about dyeing yarn.
Wow.
And so from there, it was just, I started reading the book and I was, all right, let's try this. Let's do this. So I got some dyes, I got some yarn, did some sample tests, said, you know what, I really like this. And then it was just,
That's so
now it's a
cool,
thing.
enabling you.
It's very much an enabler when it comes to this. Very much an enabler when it comes to this. And he's fantastic. He runs a lot of the back end, the business side of things, and helps keep the books, helps design the website. He's my photographer.
That's fantastic. What a good team. And does your nice professional background set up for you?
Yes, which also I have it, ready so I can switch things around.
That's so good. Yeah, so tell us about the goat.
Okay, so the goat, I'll give you guys a nice shot of the goat here. It's an institution here, and admittedly it's only been going since 1966, so it's not like super old, but thank you, Elle, I love it.
So how did the first goat happen in 1966? Do you know?
It was, if I remember right, it was like a publicity thing for, God, I can't quite remember, some organization in the city of Gävle, which is it's a couple hours drive north of Stockholm along the coast side there. And I do believe that first goat burned down. Like, it's since the beginning, it has not survived more often than it has survived.
And so with the burning, is that planned? No,
it's illegal. It's illegal. It's a crime to burn the goat down. And I did read something in 2012 or 2014. There was an American tourist who was convinced. I'm watching the chat a bit.
Just saying, Remy. Only if they catch you.
Only if they catch you, yes, Remy. I know.
Well, can we backtrack to, if we're reading the thread, because someone asked a question about the yarn?
Yes. I think what surprised me most about the yarn dyeing
process.
It's a good question. I mean, I'm learning as I'm going. I'm trying out all kinds of new things. I think one of the things that surprised me is if you get the right equipment, how easy it is to scale things up production wise. I follow quite a few indie dyers on Instagram, and I'm always interested whenever they show, the behind the scenes process, and watch a lot of that and see, okay, I'm not someone who's producing for wholesale or anything yet, but to see how the process goes, and considering that my time with dyeing is so limited, I'm really limited to evenings and weekends. And evenings are only after the kids go to sleep usually, so it's even less time than otherwise.
So is it, where do you dye it? Is it a kitchen thing at the moment?
I actually on our property we have a guest house. We have a separate building. It's a lovely little place, and half of it is a storage and hobby room, and half of it is the actual guest house with like a kind of living space, and also a full bathroom with shower and toilet and a sauna. So that's where our sauna is, because this is Sweden. And I was in the hobby room space, and then I got we found at a ridiculously cheap price, relatively, a warming cabinet secondhand, so I can do more batches at once. So then I moved over into the guest house side. And now my mom is sad because that's where she stays when she comes to visit.
So it's no longer a guest house?
It still is. The dyeing space takes up about half of the guest house side of it.
Wow. I'm imagining all kinds of nitty retreats over there in your guest house.
Oh my gosh, it will be lovely. We have a sofa bed, so it's like, okay, the stuff's going, it's cooking, whatever, then I can just sit back and relax
I think
a
we're
bit.
all inviting ourselves over there.
I'd gladly take guests. I gladly take guests.
So, does the sauna have any practicality for large-scale yarn dyeing?
Oh yeah, no, it's lovely. It's
Can you
lovely.
steam yarn in there?
It's my drying room, actually.
Okay.
It is my drying room. I have I don't know if you've ever seen the octopus hanging drying rack from IKEA. I have 3 of those hanging from hooks in my sauna, and I can hang my skeins from those and then turn the sauna on at a low heat for a couple of hours, and the yarns are fully dry by the next day.
That's great. Wow, so you've got quite the setup. So yeah, so you can scale up because of the steamer thing that you've got, so you can produce the
You do call it the granny flat, Mum.
So back to the goat.
Back to the goat. So the question was, why goat? The goat it's a traditional thing. So the Christmas goat is a traditional thing, and usually they're made on a much smaller scale than 13 meters. But they're Christmas decoration. They go under the tree. They're the goat that carries the Christmas presents around with Santa. So like my husband's grandparents had one that was maybe like 1.5 feet tall. We had one that was quite tiny. We gave it to a friend who loved the goat. Yes, instead of reindeer. Santa, it kind of goes back to the Swedish Christmas traditions. So in Sweden, Santa comes around on Christmas Eve to your house and hand delivers your presents to you in the evening.
And the goat is alongside.
And I guess traditionally there was a goat that was carrying the presents from house to house, I guess. So it's there. So the goat is the goat, Gävlebock, and the big goat is a thing. It's probably the biggest tourist attraction in the city there in Gävle.
It's so impressive. Yeah, when you talked about the goat, I didn't imagine anything that amazing. Actually, I hadn't seen any goat pictures.
There he is.
And he's got so much personality on his Instagram feed.
Oh, I know. I love his Instagram. It's fantastic. Whoever is running the Instagram is doing a very good job of it this year.
Yeah. And so there's a smaller goat nearby as well.
Right. So that's done by the Natural Science Club at the nearby school. So theirs is only, slightly larger than human height. And it's not as big, though. In previous years, they also tried to go for the record of the goat. They also tried to go for a huge goat. Most years, one or both of the goats have been destroyed or harmed. In some cases, they've been run into with cars.
Oh my God.
And I know we had a chat in one of the threads. There was talk about flaming arrows, and I was doing some reading the other day, and actually maybe it's sometime in the last 20 years, there was an attack with flaming arrows.
Yeah, that makes sense if you're trying to be surreptitious.
I'm trying to be surreptitious, but the goat did burn down via flaming arrows not too long ago.
Oh my gosh. So I wonder what the sentiment there is like. I know, I've been like, I want the goat to burn, I want the goat to burn, team.
And then other times like, no, I don't.
Well, but then when you posted the picture of the little goat it had burnt over the weekend, I felt really sad. I was like, actually, I do want the goat to burn.
You do. I was like, oh my gosh. First, my husband told me this, I was like, yes, something happened. And then it's like, oh, sad little goat.
Yeah. So now I'm feeling pretty mixed about what I want the outcome to be.
Wait. I can change the background again here.
Flaming goat. So when was that?
I don't know. He found the pictures. I'm not sure. This is it. It went up in flames. So this is sometime in the last 10 years, one of the times that it burned.
Yeah, that's spectacular. And there's no half burning there, is there? That's definitely up in flames.
Oh yeah, you can see the frame of the goat, the wooden frame of the goat.
Yeah, it should be a thing, really. Just burn it at the end. Like Remy was saying, it's going to get dismantled anyway, might as well burn it.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did the goat influence the kits? So we were talking a lot. I was like, no, I'm not going to do a festive kit. Like, we've only just gotten started. I don't have like everything kind of set up. Just thought about it some more, so I said, the goat. We do it based on the goat. We do a 12-day kit. So up to day 6 of the kit, they are the same. Was the thought. We said, okay, up to a certain point, they are the same, and then it splits, and either the goat goes up in a blaze of glory, or it survives to see the spring, because right now the goat has survived 4 straight years, which is a record. It has never survived so many consecutive years.
So is there extra security? Is there reasons why it survived?
Yeah, extra securities, people not taking the risk or not succeeding in it. Like there's extra fence, there's 24-hour webcam, CCTV, security guards. Like they do, but they don't want it to burn down.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah,
because when it burns down, then they get a lot of publicity,
and they'll have all the footage of it burning down because of
exactly. It has become a thing, particularly in the days of the internet, like if the goat survives or not.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of extra publicity for the city.
Yeah.
But just having the goat means that there's publicity for the city. It's just not always, it's not quite the same.
So someone's asking, doesn't the straw decay over time? And I was wondering, similar, if it doesn't burn, and so it survives till spring,
it survives. They usually take it down in early January. Okay. So Swedish tradition is that the right after the Epiphany, so after the 5th, 6th of January there, then you're supposed to take all your Christmas decorations down. They actually have a fantastic thing, which is julgrans plundring, which is the plundering of the Christmas tree. So you take all the decorations off and you throw your Christmas tree out then. And that's when the goat is usually dismantled, if it survives, then is that early weekend in January.
Yeah. Oh, someone's on day 6 of the kit. Yeah, we haven't actually seen a reveal yet, have we? We've seen a reveal of survived.
We've seen a reveal of the survived.
Oh, so Heather, you've got a surprise kit, have you? You don't know.
She doesn't know. There was, I think, as I only made up 10 kits because I was not sure how much I could do, how popular it would be. It's really hard to keep a straight face with you, Heather. That's my sister, so it's very difficult to
So she's just said, did you kill my goat, Jill?
So I made 10 kits. I said, okay, I'm going to post these. 5 survived, 5 burned. I think one person bought both kits.
Oh.
And after that, I think one person chose a survive. Otherwise, most people chose mystery. So they chose the surprise kit.
Oh, that's fun. And like I said, it's a lot of the anticipation. We don't know if the goat will survive.
I know. I like a little bit of a surprise in these things, and as I dyed up all the yarn and we looked, I was like, does this make sense thematically as a set? But we were like, really, people are in this for the story.
Yeah.
People are in this for the story. They want the experience of it. So I'm very happy with how everything came out. I'm really happy with all the little extra goodies and all the information cards. And also the information cards are different from day 7 on for the survived and the burned kids because they're different colors.
And so you're thinking about expanding the kit next year and doing a 24 or more?
Not for the goat. The goat's going to stay at 12 day. The goat will stay at 12 day because otherwise it's a bit too hectic to try and do a 24-day kit with the goat. The goat will stay at 12 day, but we are going to do a different 24-day kit next year.
And that's a mystery theme that shall not be revealed just yet.
I don't mind revealing it now because we're pretty set about what it is. We are going to base it around Dala hästar, the Dala horses, which are like the classic like red painted horse dolls that you see that are often associated with Sweden. They're very intricately painted. They're from the Dalarna region, a bit more inland towards the mountains, a little more further north from where we are. But
I can picture what you're describing, I think, and they're beautiful. Do you know what's the history of those? Are they related to Christmas or festive?
They're not really related to Christmas. They are like they're one of the general symbols of Sweden. When you go look internationally, and they're very much associated with this particular region of Sweden. But we just think they're really beautiful, and there's a lot to play with color-wise with those.
Yeah. So
fun.
And then little mini ones to go in the kits. Little mini horses.
Never say never. Never say never. Each of the goat kits started on the first day with a little straw goat ornament. So
yeah, they're cute. I saw those in some of the pictures. Yeah,
they're adorable. Which are also, those kind of little straw ornaments are very traditional to have on your Christmas tree. There's little, I know we went to a local Christmas market a few years ago and got some, and we have we have little goats, we have little people, little angels, straw angels. So they're very pine cones, straw pine cones.
Straw pine cones instead of
so they fold the straw into the shape of a pine cone.
Wow, so what's the tradition there with all the straw art and craft?
Kind of a farming background. There's a lot of oh my gosh, Laura, that is amazing. I just saw that.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh. That would be fantastic.
I think you've struck a positive chord with that.
I think I did. We realized no one else has done like the Scandinavian kind of theme there. So if you do, you have to show us, Laura. If you do, you have to show us. It would be amazing.
Laura's got everything. What has she got? The blouse, dress, sweater, earrings, and promises to get a tattoo for it next year.
For next year.
Not promise.
Well, potential. No, Heather, you have to tell Jack he's got to give it back. Your dog ran around with a little straw goat.
Well, that's exciting. So red, and then
there's a lot of
within
like
the
blue
design.
and white and yellow and green that are the ornamental side of the Dala häst.
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
and have you got anything else that you're kind of working on now that you can share with us? Did you?
Yes, I can actually. Yeah. I was working on some plans. I am planning a collection for the spring based around Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, fun.
Which is again, this is kind of a thing that Remy's giving me thumbs up over there. It's one of the things that I've kind of adopted since I've moved to Sweden, is because it's not a thing that you see much in the States. It's become a bit more and more.
I was going to ask that. It's reasonably popular here in Australia, but yeah, not in the
but
US.
It's not in the US, though there is going to be, reportedly, starting in February, the American Song Contest, run in a similar format. And I know that one of the guys who's been behind the Swedish Melodifestivalen, which is its own like mini Eurovision before you get to Eurovision. It was an intense contest to get to be the Swedish entry for Eurovision. That he is helping to run that. So we'll see. I'm gonna ask my US people to keep an eye on it for me and tell me how that goes. But I am planning kind of two versions of the Eurovision yarns. It's going to be a lot of full skeins and sock sets, so we can play with the colors. I've been going through and picking out screenshots from previous year's entries to use for inspiration, color inspiration.
Fantastic.
It's fun. I get to sit here, watch a lot of YouTube Eurovision and take screen grabs and put them in a document. And then I'm also going to do this coming year's Eurovision and try to get together some colorways from the 2022 competition as it's happening.
Yeah, that's big. Fun.
Big. So hopefully that will work out. But if nothing else, I'll have the ones from previous years ready. It's going to be a pre-order set. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds like great fun. A good thing.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Ooh, and have you got any yarn with you today to show us?
I do, but I have a problem with that. And that is that my lighting and my camera do not agree with each other because of the green screen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this one. And this is my Candy Canes colorway.
Oh, nice.
And this is what it looks like under this light. But then this is what it looks like with my photographer.
Yeah, it's so different, isn't it? It looks
It's so different. I've got a very kind of yellow light and it doesn't like the green screen. Orange. And if I pull up, for example, this one, this one doesn't do it. If I'm not careful, the greens are too bright and they cause the green screen to react. So like this one is actually these colors.
Wow. Yeah,
so there's a huge difference in what you see here versus how it looks in real light.
Invisible yarn.
It is invisible yarn. So actually one of the colorways from the goat I have dyed up into full skeins. And that is this one. I'll move over this way so you guys can see a little better. This is the pine or the spruce branches. Ska.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
You really want to, Heather. And then I recently dyed up a couple of mini sets. So I dyed up these super bright rainbow.
Oh, beautiful.
I love them.
Yeah.
And then I also dyed up these much more mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those two. Yeah. Gorgeous.
So they make me so happy.
Background invisible green to knit an invisible cloak with.
Right.
For those Zoom calls.
God. My husband has a green coffee mug, and when he's sitting here on his meetings and he holds up his coffee mug, it's just, he becomes see-through.
Oh, it's funny. Does he do that deliberately?
No, He usually forgets he has the green one, and then he holds it up and he sees, oh no, shit, I'm invisible. You also...
Oh, Laura's got also a jacket and socks.
I will let you know, Laura, when I put those out for pre-order. So I'm gonna take Juliana's first. A favorite yarn base. For dyeing, I've been sticking with two bases really right now. I have a 75-25 merino nylon base. That's our Socktastic base. And I have a merino twist, which is 100% merino. And I haven't tried anything else yet. When I'm knitting, I like most things. As long as it's, reasonably soft. I like most yarn.
Has it been difficult with the pandemic to get hold of yarn for dyeing? Have you
I've worked with two different suppliers. The first one I did, which is where I got our super sock base from, was a Swedish supplier, which is okay, but they didn't have a lot of selection for yarn bases. I mean, really not a lot of selection. So then actually I've been talking with Tarina throughout this whole time. She's been a fantastic support. I love Tarina. She's been a fantastic support. And she suggested a supplier, and so I've been with them, and I haven't had any problems getting yarn. My only issue with them was that they are based in the UK. And with Brexit, it has become a lot more difficult and more expensive to ship things out of the UK. But just this fall, they opened a warehouse in the Netherlands.
Great.
So if you order from the UK, you order through their Dutch warehouse.
Excellent. That would make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. I usually get my stuff from them within, 3 days. So it's
awesome.
It's very nice. So just wanted to know
asking about the name Cloudberry.
The Cloudberry. I'm gonna come back here and show you guys my Cloudberry. So Cloudberries they are berries. This is a Cloudberry. This is what they look like. They're these kind of lovely peachy orange berries. They grow in slightly marshy areas up in the mountains. In the Scandia Mountains here between Sweden and Norway. They are fantastic, usually turned into jam used in pastries and such. They have a very distinct flavor and also very large seeds, so you have to be aware of that. If you are interested, I know IKEA usually carries some Cloudberry jam.
I'm going to try some.
Food section, but it is fantastic. So in Swedish, it's hjortron is Cloudberry, and I love Cloudberries. And this year actually was a Cloudberry year. There was record numbers of Cloudberries produced because it all just grows wild. You don't really cultivate it anywhere.
So the IKEA Cloudberry jam would be harvested from the wild berries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not like you grow it like it's kind of up towards the mountains in these marshy-ish areas.
And when you say it's a distinctive taste, is it like any other berry, or what would you liken the flavor to?
It's not.
And texture? Is it kind of strawberry or?
No, I mean it's closer to a raspberry or a blackberry in texture. They are. It's not a sharp or like super sweet taste. Like they're sweet, but there's also a bit of, I don't want to say mustiness, but maybe a bit of like an umami-ish kind of flavor to them. But they are very, very good. They are the best thing to have on let's say like Swedish pancakes, which are more like crepes, and Swedish waffles, which are, you spread it on waffles. They are, and also with some whipped cream. Yeah,
and just such a good name anyway.
It is a very good name. It's a very good name. We had a little trouble with the copywriting, actually.
Oh.
Just getting it registered with the Swedish Business Bureau. But it went through in the end, which was the important part.
So was that just the Cloudberry part and then attaching the yarns?
The Cloudberry part was the problem.
Yeah.
There was, because it has to be registered and it has to, be different enough and not within the same, area as another business. And Cloudberry is protected by a business that works in textiles. And after some talk with the guy at the bureau about registering it, we made sure that our focus was on yarn, not textiles.
Which is true. So
which is,
yeah.
And it's like, we took away the textiles part of it and just put yarn, and then it went through. So, oh,
yeah. Would they create a good color? Cloudberry.
They do. Wait, do I have? This is my Cloudberry color. Actually, I have it here. So I have my Cloudberry color here. I don't.
Was it actually dyed with Cloudberries?
Unfortunately, no.
No.
I did. Part of what was fun about this was I took a. So my mother-in-law has been fantastic helping me with this. She's an accountant, so she's helped us get all the bookkeeping and stuff going. But she lives further north in Sweden. She lives, it's I always post pictures in the threads. It's when we head up north for the holidays. So she lives, it's about halfway up Sweden geographically. It's considered pretty far north. But she has a cabin out in the mountains towards the border between Sweden and Norway. And not too far from her cabin, there's a lovely lady who has a like art and design studio just out off of this dirt road. They've got a lovely like homestead essentially there. And she has this art and design studio. And she had a course on natural dyeing this past summer that I went in and took. We managed to get up there, and so I had 2 full days of learning how to do natural dyeing in wood-fired pots outside.
And did you dye with Cloudberry berries?
No, we did not dye with Cloudberry. What I learned was that anything that is green will be yellow when you dye it. So we did not. You don't waste Cloudberries for that. You eat Cloudberries. You eat the Cloudberries. Yeah. So she did have a homemade cake roll with fresh picked Cloudberry jam inside. And that was delicious.
Yeah. So are there any other natural materials that are local to your area that are good for dyeing? Did you discover anything?
Yeah. One of the most interesting ones was we actually dyed yarn using spruce branches. And you have to cook it for like 3 hours before you can dye with it.
Wow.
Like the woody branches of the spruce turn things this lovely beige color. And she had wool there. It's quite coarse stuff, so I'm not quite sure I'm going to make it, but I did get to take home 600-gram skeins from there, my choice of colors. We divvied it up. We each got our 6 skeins, and then the rest she took in and put into her shop.
And were there any surprising colours? Anything that...
We dyed using the cochineal.
beige.
That was fantastic, because I think we did about, over the 2 days of the course, because that one we kept going for the second day because there was still so much color in the bath. Cochineal it's an insect. It's a louse insect. It's what it like it when you crush it, it gives this very nice bright red color. It's what lipsticks were traditionally made out of. So we started with these really deep, exactly, it is the OG red dye. We started these really deep, not reds per se, but really deep pinks. And then we did, I think, 4 or 5, maybe 6 cooks with that same dye pot. We didn't add any more of the cochineal to it. And they just became these lighter and lighter and lighter pinks as we kept putting the yarn in, putting more yarn in, and dyeing.
Beautiful. It would have been tempting to take 6 skeins of those.
And we did it on 3 different bases, or three different bases. Essentially, there was a white, a light gray, and a dark gray. So that really showed how the base color of the yarn makes a difference. And then it was, after we pulled the yarns out from the cook pots, then we had to walk down to the river to rinse them. And it was beautiful. It was nice and cool, probably about 20 degrees in the water. And to take off your shoes and socks and roll up your pants and get down into the river and rinse the yarns out and then come back up. Yes, it was in the summer. It was one of the warmer weekends up there, actually. So I'm talking 27, 28 degrees Celsius. So a balmy 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit there.
Perfect.
Which is it's warm for the mountains. They don't usually get that hot. But it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking to doing some natural dyeing over the summer when there's more plant matter around to use.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like an amazing experience.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Wow. Well, have you got anything else you want to share with us? Has anyone got any more questions for Jill?
Any questions at all? Oh, you guys have been asking fantastic questions.
Yeah. Have I ever tried dyeing? A little bit. I often over dye clothes, and so I'll dye things, not yarn though. And I did a natural dyeing yarn course a few years ago that was really good fun. And kind of similar, we used mostly powdered prepared natural dyes, so they weren't collecting plant matter, and so they're much easier to dye with, and have experimented with doing speckling, and it was really fun. It was really fun to do. But I haven't, I think I love colour and get quite obsessed with finding particular colours, but I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of trying to dye them myself yet. So dabbled a little bit, but not really picturing a worldwide natural dyeing collaboration. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
The materials we used were very much like the whole materials. In the case of the yellow skeins that we dyed, she was like, okay, yeah, no, you're looking for this plant. It's a tall alpine flower, like seriously about, not quite human height, but easily up to my waist or higher, just growing on the hillside. She's like, yep, no, grab a bunch of these. We're gonna throw these in the pot.
So
used
I love this idea of a worldwide collaboration dyeing with local materials.
fabulous.
That is fun.
It
And
would
then
be so
when
much
we
fun.
said 9,000 Murex snails so we can dye out one skein of purple. I've never heard of that. Have you, Jill?
I remember vaguely from a history class. So the purple dyes come from your thank you, Remy. Oh God.
Wow.
Master's thesis was on that. You crush up the snail shells to get the purple dye. That's why purple was always for royalty, because it cost so much
Because it
to
was
dye anything
to
purple.
quantity
Of so small snails, you need a ton of them, and an organ in the snails even.
God.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us more about that, Remy? Sure.
Up to you. It is a fantastic thesis topic.
Yeah.
Wild.
So like
Nails,
100 years ago when I was a master's student, when I was a master's student a long time ago, I wrote my thesis on the synthesis of Tyrian purple, which is like that specific dye, and it's related to indigo. It's the exact same chemical, except it has bromines in like one specific spot, and it's really hard to get them there. And so you can either collect thousands of tiny snails, or you can do a synthesis that involves lots of toxic chemicals. And there's just no other good way to do it.
Wow.
And so I spent 3 years of my life trying to find a good way to do it.
No, that's fabulous though. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's incredible. So, and yet there's just no other good way after 3 years of research. I think Remy's frozen.
I think she froze.
Oh, Remy.
No, Remy.
Hopefully she'll come back.
Yes.
Oh, she's gone.
No.
Yeah, some other dyeing I've done too, I was just remembering, is nature print, kind of where I get gum leaves and things like that and put them on t-shirts. I remember doing it with my son and his friends when they were little, and then using and actually doing this with the natural dyeing as well. Iron water, getting rusted things and putting them in vinegar and making a sort of rusty water with it. And if I dip the leaves in the iron water and then put them on the shirt, it would create more of a black print of the leaf on the shirt. And I know some yarn dyers do that with the yarn, like they'll wrap up leaves and material in with the yarn and do that kind of printing, dyeing with the yarn, which has a similar effect to the yarn behind you, like that sort of variegated. Yeah.
That's one of my Christmas colors.
But
so fun.
It's amazing, some of the colors that come out, like avocados creating pink, beautiful pink colors. Yeah, just trying to think. There's a few dyes in Australia who use natural materials, and I do love this idea of a worldwide collaboration.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but not with Cloudberries.
Not with Cloudberries, no, but there's other things. There's various mosses and lichens that give really nice, the lichens in particular give really nice brown colors if you do them. You just have to then like pick the lichens off of the yarn at the end because they stick to it. But
and there's a green plant we call oxalis here, which is probably a common name everywhere for that plant. It looks a bit like clover, and that creates a really almost neon yellow colour. That's a fun colour.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
My cat unplugged me. Remy, she's back.
No, at least you're back now, Remy.
Verdict, snails. Yes. I think the verdict was there's no
really good answer. I think the verdict is no good answer.
Yeah, after 3 years. So, has anyone got anything they want to share with us today? Yeah, Lauren's putting her hand up, I think. No, I can't see everyone. Any more questions for Jill?
Heather has her hand up.
Oh, now Remy can't hear
Oh,
anything.
Remy can't hear.
Hello. So I wanted to show, I made some socks. I was Jill's first official purchase. And so I made these socks in her, I'm sorry, my lighting's terrible. In her hydrangea. And it's a purpley color.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That I will attempt to actually backlight well.
And is the contrast purple also Jill's yarn?
No, the contrast is something different, but I had it as some scraps and it really worked out well. So there's some really cute socks that I made. And I actually made both of them. So
Heather, can you show your festive knitting? I want to see.
Yeah, and then I've been working on my goat adventure cowl.
So where are you up to? Day 6?
So I'm up to day 6. So this is my day 6. So it started out with the straw, the straw from the goat, and then the red ribbons around it. This was what tree, the branches.
The branches.
This is the fence, the steel fence that surrounds it for protection. And then this is the hay starting to look a little weathered. And then I'm on the night sky. And so literally my next color, it sounds like I will find out if my goat catches on fire or not.
You could open it on camera if you want.
Heather, you haven't opened ahead?
I've been trying. The only one I opened ahead was I opened these two at the same time because I was heading to the yarn store to knit for the day, and I was only slightly overly optimistic about how much I'd get done. So no, I have not been opening ahead. I've been patiently waiting.
Well, hurry, I want to see.
You could open on camera, Heather.
I could go get it. We can see if my goat. I know, no pressure. Oh yeah.
Do you know which one she has, Jill?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go get it. I'll be back.
Go get it. Go get it. We'll wait for you.
Spoiler. It's hard with the 12-day kit to know when it's officially a spoiler. So if anyone's knitting with the goat kit and wants to keep it a surprise,
I would
mute.
Jump out.
Go make a cup of tea.
Go get a cup of tea. Yes. No, it's been fun watching people with as Buffy was opening the goat kits and had the survived kits, and that was fun. I had forgotten which one she had, so I was like, I don't know which one she has.
Okay.
Day 7.
Bag. Yeah, 7. Actually, I should say I almost opened, even though you put the little dash on the 7 so that I knew, I almost opened 7 instead of 1. So they all come with, I didn't feel it. They also
so which
wrote
kit
out.
Have you got Judith? Judith is just saying that she's up to day.
She's up to day 7.
So day 7, day 14, which is actually what day it is in the Northern Hemisphere right now. So not really spoiling.
It looks like my goat might be catching on fire.
Ooh.
So every one of them comes, they wrote a little card out as well, which says, in the darkest hour, you see sparks in the night. Your goat is on fire.
Yay.
So yeah, so my goat is starting to catch on fire. And it's almost black with just some little specks of color in it. So that's very cool, Jill.
That's so fun.
So yeah, I'll have to wind that up and start that tonight.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I love hearing the stories of each color too.
Yeah.
Sparks in the night.
Yay. Cool. Did anyone else bring anything they want to share with us today? Any whips that you're working on or finished objects? If you pop your hand up if you're wanting to share something with us, and we'll be able to. Laura's putting her hand up. Excellent. Put on fire.
Yep.
Okay, so first, this is my cat again, who appeared in the last Zoom, and even though I'm in a completely different location in my house, had to appear again. And I just cast on for my Radvent pillow. I cast on twice, and then I started knitting the mosaic at the beginning of this Zoom and realized I'd messed it up again. And then I messed it up a fourth time when Jill started talking about dollar horses. So I only have like 2 rows of mosaic knitting after all this work, but I am super excited about it. So it's all good. And I grabbed the nearest Dollahist item in my closet, the jacket.
There we go. There are the dollar horses.
Yes. So I'm absolutely serious about doing a Dollahist fashion show, and I have extreme FOMO about missing out on the burning horse thing. So yes, I am going to order all of the horse kits, none for anyone else. But this is great.
You're going to keep me going here, Laura. It'll be lovely.
Yeah, but I've really appreciated learning more about your yarns. So thank you.
Thank you.
So when did you become obsessed with the horses? You've got quite a collection of.
Oh yeah. I guess ever since I was a kid, my mom really loves them too. So we, like, my grandmother's Swedish, and like, I think she had some that I like to play with around her house when I was a kid. So I don't know.
Whereabouts in Sweden do you know whereabouts in Sweden she's from?
Småland, I think. Is that right?
Småland.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a place. Småland.
Yeah.
I know that in IKEA, the small.
Yep.
IKEA.
Here's the thing about IKEA. There's a lot of really bad puns happening at IKEA if you understand Swedish. Really bad puns.
So,
but
because that's where you put the little kids to play while you go shopping.
But Småland is also a region of Sweden that's to the south of me. Heather's right. My husband, the first time we went to IKEA with him in the States, he walked around and told us like the meanings of the names of things. It was it was both good but also exhausting to know how much wordplay was happening. Heather's right. There's a lamp that's name means darkness.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that could be a business in that, doing the Swedish tour in non-Swedish IKEA stores.
Because all the things are named the same. It's all the same products. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got anything they want to share with us today?
And I can show that I'm finally getting started on my party cardi.
Nice.
I've got the Mad Scientist Jekyll kit for myself this year. So finally getting somewhere with it. I had a commission of a set of leg warmers for a former colleague to knit, and I finished that today.
Yay,
Celebrating, and all my grades are in, so now I can
Party
relax
time.
a bit here.
Yeah, and twin with Michelle, because she knit one as well.
Yes.
Mad Scientist style.
I'm not doing the fading like she did, but I'm doing similar.
Okay, so you're using the same kit but mixing it up.
I'm using the same kit, same order, but she did like the one like going back and forth to fade it very nicely.
Yeah.
But I am taking her notes on making it longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a long one would be great. Hers looks fantastic. I've seen it.
I haven't seen it in color yet.
I've seen the full color. No, she hasn't shared that yet.
No.
Hi, Judith.
Hi, Judith.
Hi, Laura. Laura and I live about an hour away from each other.
Yeah,
Oh,
Judith and I are really close to each other. So
you
it's
have the same
hilarious
yarn
to
store? Do
see
you?
you on this this Zoom.
Well, this is my adventuring sort of shawl, sort of scarf. And it is alpaca from the Knitting Goddess. It was a 2020 kit. And it is so soft and lovely. Most scarves, you know, I don't like itchy things around my neck, although this probably will be given to somebody, but you can see how subtle the color changes are.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. She's done it.
And
That's beautiful.
well, because of the different, because of the size of the individual skeins and the difference, this is 25 skeins. And so what I'm doing is, rather than having each stripe between the eyelets be a separate color, I'm just ending to the end of going to the end of the color. So it blends, I think, a lot more maybe than that pattern would if you actually kept it color by color.
Blocks, yeah. So you're just knitting until you run out of the yarn, and then knitting in the next
knitting. Yep, and then putting the next color in. So it will be kind of, I don't know, if I block it, it might be big enough to be a wrap, but it's probably going to be a very large scarf.
That's gorgeous.
So yeah, I love the yarn, but I could not figure out what to do with it last year. So this is
10 gram minis, is it?
Yep.
They're smaller, yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It's gorgeous.
Right.
Can't wait to see.
Thank you. It's so fun.
Anyone else got something to share? How's your party cardi coming along, Jess? If you have time to work on that. Yes?
Yeah, I have. It's not as far along as I would like, but I'll hold it up for you. So I'm using some self-striping yarn from Gauge Dye Works, which is that kind of blues and greens and grays. And then it won't show up on here at all, but this gray is has a little bit of sparkle in it. So that's my, because I like my more muted colors, that's my one decision, that it will be party-ish with its little bit of sparkle, but it's not very noticeable. But I've just about finished the front, and I've got the other sleeve done, which was really so satisfying to realize that I had already done the sleeve. I have no sleeve island. It's done. As you're knitting the front, you've made the sleeve and it's done. It's very exciting.
That is one of the things I liked about knitting the Radvent cardigan too, is there's no sleeve island, because you go from the sleeves in.
It's more like body island. You get stuck on yeah, you're on body island instead of sleeve island.
But it's not really an island, because it's like, okay, I just keep going. There's no like stopping and adding, and it's like, oh, and then I seam it together, and okay, now it's time for the hem.
Remy's got her hand up. Have you got something to share? Oh, hang on.
Juliana.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm doing 2 projects this year because Remy egged me on. No, because we made plans. So she helped me sort out which things I wanted to make with which kits. So this, on the 60-inch needles, can kind of see the Radvent wrap
looking so good
to take shape. This is the Miss Babs party dresses, and I think Judith, it was you did Miss Babs the winter snowy night something set last year, and this pattern has just, I don't know, the first time I saw it I wasn't sure, and then I saw more and more examples of it, and now I have my own underway.
Oh, I just love it. Last year, yeah, I'm
wearing last year's Radvent cardigan, the rainbow, I think Woolly Dragon. Is that the Woolly Dragon? Yeah.
Is that the Woolly Dragon Galaxy?
Galaxy, yes. Yes, Galaxy singles. Something.
That's so beautiful. Yeah.
And then the one I'm doing also this year, this is the almost finished first triangle in the Shirley Bryan Yarns advent. So I caved and opened a few of my other ones early, but this one has been so surprising that I am like sticking to a surprise a day, not letting myself peak, because each time I'm like, wait, what? Oh, ooh, okay, it actually works. So soon to go into the second triangle, which I'm excited about because these rows are getting very long, Ambah, very, very long.
But not many rows per color, so.
That's true. And I think in both patterns, I'm close to the like switch point where it goes down a little bit, like because it's getting so big that the repeat numbers go down. So I do appreciate that you like pace it for us throughout the month.
But I'm so impressed that you've kept up with 2 projects and big projects as well. Amazing.
Yes. Well, work is bad and knitting is good.
Yes.
So.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for sharing those. And someone else had their hand up. Oh, Remy.
Remy.
Okay, so my cat knocked the plug out of the wall, and that's why my video suddenly went, because my whole laptop like crashed. It was really exciting in a bed. But I'm working on this is the back, my go-go throw.
Oh.
Using Miami Fibers Valhalla kit.
That's so gorgeous.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna get it, and then there was some extras, so I got it, and then I didn't get the full skein, but then I wanted to make a go-go throw, so I'm texting Lauren like, what should I pull from my stash to make this look good? And I sent her a bunch of options, and she's like, oh no, that one, definitely that one. But look, it looks so good.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
I don't even like yellow or brown, and the whole top right now is yellow and brown, and it looks so good.
Isn't that funny how colors, you know, you can not like a color and then it surprises you by when you interact with others.
She's just really good at this.
Yeah.
Is the moral of the story. Lauren is here too. Is she? Good. I'm going to keep saying nice things about her.
Yeah. And we'll chat with Lauren next week again too, because she's going to share that beautiful kit with us.
Because it's so good. This is today, and by today I mean today where Ambah lives, not today where I live. But my soul resides in New Zealand for the month of December. It's fine, but like,
gold. That's gorgeous.
It's like golden, bronzy, I don't know. It's beautiful, and I love it.
But these times. Exactly.
Time is a social construct, is what it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, we can. I'm all done.
Awesome,
Okay.
thank you. And
Bye.
we so the verdict on the beetle or the snail. Oh, we've lost
Snails versus chemicals.
lost her again in that crucial moment. Oh, Remy.
No, listen, there are no good options. You cannot make this chemical without it either killing thousands and thousands of snails or killing everything else because of what you have to use to make it go. Like, I popped on every security screening every time I had to go to the airport for the entirety of grad school. Okay, because like all of the starting materials, you start off with toluene and then you nitrate it. And I don't know if you know what happens, but when you nitrate toluene, you end up with a lot of TNT. And so I was special consideration at the airport for a long time. So it's just, this is why we stick to blue and green. And this is why purple was so expensive, is because you got to kill like a bazillion snails and pull out one, and the organs are very small. It's just
super tiny.
It was, don't do it.
Gosh.
We you just gotta get like indigo and cochineal and mix them together to get red, We
Yeah.
will not have royal purple. We will have like poor people purple, but it's better.
Plebeian
To be
purple.
fair, when we did
That's a
the
yarn
dyeing
colour,
course,
pleb purple.
when we did the dyeing course, the instructor, the lady who runs this place, she said, to get blue naturally, then you have to use indigo, but indigo is such a tricky and complicated process to get, and it's not something that she can dispose of easily. The extras, that's the thing. It's not something she can dispose of easily. So she's like, no, then we're also going to teach you a little bit how to use synthetic dyes. And I was like, well, okay, I have used synthetic dyes. I know how to use the synthetic dyes. So I didn't get to play with the synthetic dyes. Instead, I got to keep playing with the natural dyes. But
but we can make indigo synthetically a lot easier. So like getting indigo from plants takes a lot of plant, but making indigo in a lab is not very difficult. Making indigo into slightly different colors, like you can add things to indigo which change the compound very slightly, and when you change the compound very slightly, you change the color very dramatically. So you can make it from like that deep blue to like a very teal to like a sort of brightish green, all very easily. But to make it purple, it is incredibly difficult.
How interesting.
Just chemistry, man.
Yeah.
chemistry.
This is why I don't dye yarn, because it would just like, that's all it would do. Instead, I knit yarn. I refuse to learn to spin, and I refuse to dye yarn because it would become like my whole life.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I would have less time to do knitting, and knitting is my happy place. I need that time.
That's basically why I don't knit, dye yarn or spin, because I know I'll just obsess over it. Yeah.
Like in the month of October, November, I made 4 pullovers in 6 weeks. Like, this is a coping mechanism, and I need lots of coping. So I'm amazed at people who dye.
Elle, saying that's why she quit dyeing. You were doing such beautiful, beautiful yarn.
Thank you.
Hey, Elle. I was hoping you'd pop in. Yeah, your yarn was gorgeous. Are you still dyeing any for yourself?
You
Or
mean?
just knitting? Yeah.
Oh, I was going to with the yarn I had left over from when I was actually selling it. But then we got a new range in our kitchen, which means my pans my dye pots, they don't work on induction.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what to do at this point, because my stainless that I was using as dye pots are not metallic on the bottom. And if they're not magnetic, and if they're not magnetic, they won't work on the induction cooktop. I do have one magnetic bottomed pot, but it's one of those like the blue enamel looking ones you get for like old school like camping with the white specks in there.
Yeah.
It's dark and you can't see in there to see what color your yarn is. So I have some bare yarn. Yeah, I have some bare yarn, and I have, an entire library of acid dyes. And there are some gaps in my stash that I would love to dye up, but getting that new range really kind of stopped everything.
Yeah.
So,
Can you set up a gas camping stove outside or something for dyeing?
I was thinking about doing that, just moving the operation out to the workshop and just using gas fed, because we're no stranger to using the huge propane tanks to run high BTUs to cook things. So I might do that.
Excellent. So you gave up dyeing to knit for more knitting time.
So some people are right. Like when you start dyeing and you're like, I'm dyeing and I love it. And I love how people love my yarn.
but I found myself knitting very little. And
Yeah.
I also found myself not buying other people's yarns as much, and that made me sad. So I was like, I really miss buying yarn. So I decided to put the dyeing on the back burner.
Or the non-burner.
Yes. Well, it was really fun while it lasted, though.
Mhm.
And it's just so tempting to do more Advent kits, because it was hard work, but it was one of those things where it's when you're done, you feel like you finished a marathon and you're at the finish line and you're like, I did it. So
and then there's still the marathon of every day then being opened up as well. I just think all the yarn dyes waiting for the mystery to be revealed.
Yep.
It was a tough decision, but at the end I decided, I want to be just a full-time knitter. So
I can relate to that very much. Yeah. Has anyone got anything else that they want to share with us today? No hands up? Not that I can see anyway.
Nope, no more hands up.
So Lauren, who's Miami Fibers, is saying it's like holding your breath for a whole month. Yeah. I can imagine, you'd be so excited for people to start opening them, and then you're like, oh, they're going to like it. Is it? Yeah. But I know that yours is incredible, Lauren. So, and already everyone's enjoying that.
Yeah.
We've got a question for you, Ambah, about Julianne asked as if you are starting to think about next year's festive patterns.
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't. Yeah, I have not. Little ideas sort of sparking, but no, nothing concrete yet. I haven't
You did a lot this year. I feel like you need, this was pretty epic in terms of the 5 different patterns.
Yeah, speaking of marathons.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe your brain is going to need a little bit of a space between the planning part for next year.
More like, is it ever not Advent Festive KAL in your brain? I know, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking, it'd be fun to do a bunting kind of thing. So that's kind of one of my, I was hanging up fairy lights and thinking, it'd be good to knit.
I love them.
Covers for the lights. That would be a small project, which would be a good daily project. Yeah. Goat bunting.
Yes. Goat bunting. Remy, to answer your question, I'm actually eating one of the Lucia saffron buns, is what I've been snacking on. These are
Tell us about saffron buns.
Yes, so I love the saffron buns. Saffron is very much a Christmas flavor here. So traditionally on Lucia, which was the 13th, Monday, then you have saffron buns. They're a sweet bread bun. Traditionally, they're kind of curly cued like an S, and you have raisins in them. Those are the most traditional ones. But these are the ones that my friend made when we had our baking weekend, the first weekend of December. And hers are more rolled kind of like a croissant, kind of like a crescent thing. And it has a mixture of almond paste and butter in the middle of it.
Yum.
To give it a bit of, it's delicious. It is amazing.
So is it more like a pastry, like a croissant, or is it more of a bread dough roll?
It's not flaky at all like a croissant. It's more like a bready bun. Good ones aren't dried out. I'll put it that way. Had some very dry Lucia buns back in the day.
And has that one been in the freezer? Have you kept that fresh?
Yes. So this one's been in the freezer. I warmed it up earlier. I think we have one left. We try to have them on Sunday with our Advent fika with the kids. They like them. So
yeah. And saffron, is it? I guess does it grow? Is it the native flower to the area? Like, why is saffron? No, just
no
exotic spice.
It's you get them in little 0.5 gram packets. And it's like, it's a big thing when we start getting into November and December at the grocery stores. So I was like, don't forget the saffron. It is so expensive.
Yeah,
It
same
is,
here.
it is expensive. Like this little half gram costs, I don't even know, somewhere like $3 to $5, depending on the quality of your saffron for 0.5 grams.
I actually grew saffron flowers years ago, and each flower you'd get 3 little strands of saffron. Yeah, purple, pretty purple flowers. Do you like
The
purple?
crocuses, yeah.
So 3 little, I guess they're the stamens.
Threads, yeah.
From each flower. So you can understand why it's so expensive.
Absolutely. But it is like, it is
Someone
the
might
thing.
wait to save it for their holiday celebration because it would have been such a very special treat to have, so that it would have been a holiday thing. It looks like Laura has her
Laura
hand
has
up.
a hand
So
up.
yeah, I'm gonna can't highlight you, but I'm gonna unmute you, Laura. Oh, there you are.
So I just wanted to share that the instant that Jill held up her Lucia bun, my mom texted me a picture of Lucia buns that she had just picked up. She's in Chicago, so I don't know, she might have gone to either the neighborhood bakery or the Chicago bakery to get these, but she's like, I'll freeze them from when you're here. So I put literally, you were like, this is a Lucia bun? And then like a text came in. So I don't know what just happened, but that was
Stars
epic.
aligned.
Yeah, the stars aligned. That had to be shared.
The universe is taunting you and wants you to have one.
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously.
No, it's amazing. They're good usually at my work. Then, and I wasn't there on Monday. I've been home the last 2 days, and I'll be home now on Wednesday too. My son's had a bit of a cold, so I've been staying home with him. But on Lucia, we get the Lucia buns, lusikatter. Always, it's like, oh yep, nope. Go down the staff room, get your buns.
And do they always have the almond filling or different kinds of fillings?
That's a different recipe. It's a non-traditional recipe, but it's so much better than the traditional recipes. So
it sounds so good. I love everything almond, so I would want that. I would want it in
like,
every.
You can get essentially like a block of almond paste, and for this, like, you have to like grate it off and then mix it with the butter.
Oh wow.
And so there's my friend who makes the buns. We have our day of holiday baking, and she makes the buns and I make a bunch of cookies. And so she rolls out her dough and cuts it into essentially like pizza slices, and so triangles, and puts a line of this almond paste and butter mixture, and then rolls it up.
Yum. I want a block of that almond paste to grate. That sounds amazing.
It is. The almond paste features in 2 major Swedish holidays. It features here, but it features majorly in the spring during Lent, with the other amazing Swedish pastry, which is the semla, which is a sweet bready bun, and you slice the top of it off and you pluck out the filling of it, mix that filling with almond paste and milk, put it back in, top it with whipped cream, put the top of it back on, and sprinkle with powdered sugar.
Wow.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is fabulous.
Yeah, I'm thinking about cooking with saffron now too. It's very inspiring. And Christine says saffron crocus is the flower that produces the saffron, which is that purple flower. Yeah, I think I need to get some of those bulbs and stuff. I think I grew 3 flowers at the time, and then they disappeared in the garden, but like the harvest was just so minuscule.
Oh yeah, it's definitely tiny harvest from those, but
yeah.
But there are definitely recipes for Lucia buns online and in English. You don't have to try and run it through a translator, but they're they're definitely a flavor of the season here.
Well, I'm inspired to try making them. I think my son would enjoy those. He likes saffron-y things. Yeah. Well, I think that's us for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing more about Swedish traditions
Absolutely.
and your yarn. And now I also want to go to IKEA and discover Cloudberry jam.
There's two kind of big jams. There's the Cloudberry jam and there's the lingonberry jam, but they are two very different flavors.
Yeah,
Both very Swedish.
Tried the lingonberry one.
The lingonberry is very tart.
Like cranberry, yeah.
It's cranberry-esque. It's very tart. Whereas the Cloudberry it's a completely different flavor profile for a jam. So.
Yep. All right. We're all going to IKEA.
Yep.
And your husband should be doing IKEA tours in the US and Australia and explaining.
Yeah, God, it's wild. I'm pretty good at it now, though. There's a lot of things that are named after places or people, but my Swedish is fluent enough that I can see the jokes.
Lauren was just saying goodbye. Bye, Lauren. I think you've gone,
Bye,
but she'll be
Lauren.
back next week to chat with us as well, and a couple of other yarnies at the later time. So we might not see Jill because it'll be super late for you.
It starts at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So what time is it now for you?
Right now it's about 10:30.
Yeah, pretty late
for me.
Well, thanks for joining us so late because it was still pretty late.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us so early, Ambah, because I know it's still fairly. Thank you for joining us so early.
Well, yeah, it's early, but not as late as yeah. I figured we'd get quite a few US people able to join in too, because it's sort of about lunchtime for you there, isn't it? For some parts of you.
For our West Coast people, it's more lunchtime.
Yeah, it's lunchtime here and early afternoon. And Juliana says it's good pre-kid pickup time. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, next week we'll be at our normal time, and it'll be kind of our solstice.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
The 21st, 22nd.
Yeah. Longest night of the year. Or shortest.
Shortest day, longest night.
Yeah, and longest day for us.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.
Remy's opening presents that day. Yay.
It'll be fun.
And then there was a person who celebrates cheese-dus for solstice and eats all the cheese things with her friends. I think that's a good tradition.
That's wild.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump into the threads and see what everyone's been chatting about since we've been talking here a bit with a few posts. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.